One thing we're always asked when we talk about Second Life and other virtual worlds is how do you control for security versus innovation in Second Life?
I used to be a principal of a face-to-face middle school and a principal of a face-to-face high school. When a student wrote FU on the bathroom wall, we didn't shut down the school, and we certainly didn't stop allowing kids to go to the bathroom. But that's exactly what tech directors are doing. And here's my issue with tech directors. Show me the data. Show me the data of security breaches that have had a major impact on your networks. Whenever I ask that question, they have a hard time coming up with anything except media reports and newspaper reports of what's happened somewhere else. What we do is partner with these districts on the front end, and we sit down and say, make me a list of 25 things you block for security. And if I can show you that I can unblock 5 of them, keep your kids safe, and we can pilot this for a year, can we look at the data together? That's a very different approach than just saying open the network or don't. So I think one of the key learnings from us during this virtual blended ecosystem has been how do we make sure that we go at it from a standpoint of involving the key adults and also the students in our processes. So we have a phrase at North Carolina Virtual, never opt for the tyranny of or when the genius of and is at your fingertips. Sit down with these districts and go at it from a both-and perspective. Now, before I move on to Jill's second question, I want to acknowledge the one in the chat. We have a link that we will provide you to our innovation pilot at Chapel Hill, Carborough City Schools, at Culbreth Middle School. These students are using over 650 iTouches on a daily basis. And as they are working with these iTouches, you have procedures that encourage these things like you guys are calling citizenship and all of these things that you're chatting about. We sit down and talk about release forms, parent responsibility, what happens if the networks are breached by the students, and how we educate them on moving forward. You know, Arkansas, for instance, recently went away from the $30,000 laptop lab and started putting iTouches on a school bus. They figured that 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes home would give students an opportunity to study and focus on core courses. Not only does the data show that performance has been improved, but it also shows, guess what? They don't break the machines. Far easier to lose a textbook than to break an iTouch. Jill, your next question.
Next thing that we're always asked is that, okay, we've got Second Life and we're bringing adults and having some great presentations and learning a lot of good lessons. But the next question always leads to, do you plan on bringing kids into these ecosystems for learning? And if so, what is the plan?
The metaphor I always use here is a formula called the 10-3 formula. If you assume that most lessons in a semester at the high school level, most lessons or classes at the middle school level have about 10 units for a semester, or for an elementary year, maybe you're trying to get 10 standards across. You start by being strategic. You look at those 10 lessons or 10 standards, and you say, how many are going to be in Second Life? How many are going to be mobile? How many are going to be blended? And how many are going to be done with which teachers at which schools? You don't have to conquer the world at once. As I'm sure Discovery knows, you start with an innovative leader, a great network engineer, and teachers that are willing to try streaming. And then you think of ways to blend streaming into ecosystems like tonight. One of the things that Jennifer, aka Jill, will show you in a minute is how we can blend a Discovery piece back into tonight's presentation. Once you have done that 10-unit module design of how many times you're going to use virtual worlds, then you divide it by 3. Well, what are you dividing by 3?